systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Gyiraszin myself. That's what that means. Very excited to talk a big boy slate, Gyiraszin. 13 games. We'll have fun like we always do on here, but I think last week was like 8 or 7, so we had time to even BS a little more. 13 games, and man, it's one of the tougher 13-game slates, I think. So many good pitching options. I mean, it's pretty cool here in Wisconsin. It's pretty cool across the country. Team total is only one above 5. A lot of bats, a lot of pitching. I mean, it's going to be a tough one. Ownership should be spread out. Before I go to you, though, I got to say hi. Ryan Shepard, Carmen, No Stop, Pot Stoner, Gator Nation, Michael W., Taco Todd, Nate, what's going on? Kenny, Mark Estrada, Nate D. Hope everybody out there doing well. King of Smack also in here. All right, Gyiraszin, how you feeling today on this fine Tuesday afternoon on this very tough slate, in my opinion? What's up,
it's a great day. I'll tell you what, it did cool off a little bit here in Michigan too, man. These last couple of days, I went to my golf league last night and got out of the truck. It was like 4 o'clock. I thought, damn, I got to get the reserve sweatshirt out. Like, it was like a little bit chilly. But, yeah, man, it's getting a little cooler across the country. You know what that means, Title? That means football.
Let's go.
Right around the corner.
You
so
do
I
feel
can't wait
football
here
weather.
for some football. Looking forward to it, man. Football is just such a great time. I mean, there's nothing much better. I mean, you get all week up until, the big to-do. You get all week to prepare, and then it all comes out and plays out for you on Saturday, Sunday, whether you like college football, which, hey, I understand we got here this year some college football. So looking forward to diving into them streets. We went a few years without college football, so be glad to have that back. But, hey, got the safety meeting shirt on, so you know what that means. We go whoop some ass here today, dial up here some winners, and get on top of some of them tournaments. But I got to give a shout-out to my man, 13 Spades here yesterday, sent a little message in the Discord. Man, he came in we can't get any stinking bigger than that, but whatever. He came in second place in the single-entry $100 showdown series, that their single-entry series they had going on over there on DK, or FanDuel. So congrats to you. He said, hey, I used part of your core and part of Ham's core. I'm glad you put in Corey Seager because I had him in my core. That was one of the guys I had yesterday. But, hey, exciting times around here, Title. I mean, we had a PGA show. We had the NFL Shiptimizer show to kind of show everybody the new Corvette, the new toy we got in the garage here at SHIPIT Nation. But, hey, I don't know if y'all saw, but I had to totally troll my Ohio State buddies because that's what I do as a Michigan fan, because that's what you do. So I don't know if you saw my tweet, but I said, hey, tell your friends, you're new to DFS, you want to be born on third base, come on over here to SHIPIT Nation. We got rankings. We got videos for you. We got everything you need to put you on third base to help you ship them contests right in your bank accounts, as I said. So, hey, born on third base around here. We're going to have some safety meetings, have fun, Title. I don't even know. I got to calm down a little bit.
No, you don't.
Maybe I should have smoked an indica instead of a sativa today.
No, we don't need you asleep over. Just kidding. Gyiraszin never asleep. He could have 5 indica joints and he'd be rocking and rolling. But absolutely love the shirt. People are chirping. Where am I? Are you in prison? Pop Stoner saying Title coming from the
It does look like you're in prison. It looks like Nurse Ratchet's going to come in there and give you some medicine.
No, I'm at the White's parents' house right now. I'll be back in Arizona in like less than 2 weeks. So I'm pretty pumped to get back, but still in Wisconsin, bouncing around doing shows. Just need Wi-Fi. That's all that matters. You can do the show from anywhere. Thank you, Carmen, for that. Damon's in here. Yeah, you mentioned. Shout out to you, Spades. He's right in here. I want to shout out Badlands. He's in the MMA Discord. He shipped the $100 single entry series. So we had the baseball second place one. MMA, Badlands shipped first place in the single entry series they were doing. And our man Jordan Newins, he shipped 5th place in the $5 single entry. So it's all the sports. Hoop just won $70K in MMA streets. Lay the House won $18,000. So many big screenshots, so many sports. People have mentioned hockey. Next thing you know, hockey will be back. I got a man Nades. We have our projections. So much going on. But baseball season right now and football's right around the corner. Let's listen to our man D-Gen talk little football, get us pumped up for what we have over here at SHIPIT Nation, and then college football, like you said, this week. So let's listen to D-Gen quick before we talk some baseball.
I just checked my calendar, and you know what? It's August, which means one thing. Football's back, and if you can't get excited for football in August, I got nothing for you, big guy. The big guy is excited. Guy in the back is excited. SHIPIT Nation is excited, and darn it, you better be excited too. So let's get started. Everything that SHIPIT Nation has to offer you in 2024. I hope you saw what an incredible year it was at SHIPIT Nation in 2023 for NFL season. And if you're thinking to yourself, I want all that again, well, don't worry. You're going to get it all and more. We have an entire team over here at SHIPIT of just the sweatiest tryhards you've ever met who are ready to offer you every single thing you need for every single slate, including the stack rankings, the DVP rankings, slate plans, player pools, every single thing. And oh yeah, if you don't know, all the stuff that I did at my site last year, DGen75, is now over at SHIPIT. I told you were going to get everything we offered and then more. So it's no surprise that at SHIPIT Nation, they had 3 Millionaire Maker winners last year, over 24 six-figure winners, and a handful of game-changing hits from our community. But what is it that I'm bringing over from DGen75 that's so special? Well, first of all, this thing called the Stone. If you don't know, I invented this for college football to try to help everybody, and now it has just turned into the best tool in all of DFS. You want my ownership and my projections. You want to know who's a good cash play, who's a good GPP play. I put it all into one place called The Stone. I do this for PGA. I do this for college football. We do this for NFL. And here's the best part. You get all of this in one place in addition to everything that SHIPIT Nation is already offering. You're still getting your Tambo, your Hoop, your Marley, your Tidal, your Hamwich. All of those guys, the sweatiest tryhards, are now there, and you get this in addition to the tools. And here's the best part. None of it is an upsell. It's all the same price, if not cheaper than everybody else in the community, and you're getting double the tools. This is what we do at SHIPIT. We want you spending your money on your contests and not on your content. So if that NFL stone caught your eye, let me tell you about the college football stone. I know a lot of you are saying college football is not even legal in 20 states. Yeah, but that means it's still legal in 30. And I am telling you, college football DFS is the next sport that's coming up. If you're intimidated by it, you don't know anything about it, well, don't worry. I have a stone right here that tells you what's a good cash play, what's a good GPP play, ownership, projections, everything you need, just like we offer for NFL. This was a big part of the merger when DGen came over, is I wanted to bring this over to SHIPIT Nation so people can see how fun college football DFS is. And you're thinking to yourself, man, I don't want to pay no $300 for no college football package. Well, don't worry. We don't separate our packages. We only have a football package. NFL and college football are one package, and here's the best part. Even if you just want to play NFL, our package is already cheaper than all of the competition, and you're basically just getting college football for free. So why in the hell would you not want it? It is an awesome tool. I have the sweatiest tryhard team behind me. College football DFS is a great little addition, and we don't upcharge you because, once again, put your money into your contests and not into your content. So what is this great price, and how does it compare to the competition? Well, let's just put up a chart, Bob. Here you go. You can see that we don't break it into a bunch of packages. We just have a football package, which includes both NFL and college football for $299. Here's the best part. You sign up before September 5th. We're going to give you free run of the entire website, MMA, PGA, MLB. You can be doing all of that stuff all the way up till September 5th just on us, because that's what we do to take care of our members. Not to mention, when you look at this, just start comparing the price. You are literally going to be saving hundreds, if not thousands of dollars during the season. That is things you could be putting into your DraftKings and FanDuel lineups and not wasting, giving it to your touts and paying for shit that you don't need. Pay for what you deserve and get quality. That is what we offer here at SHIPIT Nation. 2024 has been a magical year for SHIPIT Nation. The merger between SHIPIT Nation and DGen has gone better than we could have ever expected. Just look at the success across NASCAR and PGA, MMA, MLB. All of the sports out there have been incredible, and now we're going to carry it over to this football season with NFL and college football, and we are going to blow your hair back by giving you the best product at the best price out there. We're also going to teach you about sustainability, about how to play DFS sustainably so you can be there long enough to hit those wins, to get those big hits. We don't care if it's $50, $500, $5,000. We want you to play long enough until you can hit it, and we can do that by giving you great tools at an affordable price, and that is our mission here at SHIPIT Nation. Come be a part of the most incredible community out there. Come be a part of a place that teaches you how to win, and come be a part of a place that celebrates your wins and not fucking moderators' wins. It's been awesome. 2024, the year of SHIPIT Nation. Come join the nation. It's going to be special in 2024. I'm out, you motherfathers.
Man, just absolutely love that energy. Always thinking of praying for you, D-Gen. And this is the best comment right here. He's pumping me up to do dishes, and I hate doing dishes. The energy is absolutely on fire.
Dishes too. Fuck.
Yeah, I hate dishes too, for sure. Absolutely on fire. Shout out D-Gen. Football season right around the corner. Again, no better place to be than SHIPIT Nation. No better time to join right here, as you can see real quick. Best price right here, right there. The $299 all football special. We do have monthly for football, though. Both packages do include MLB right now, PGA right now, MMA before the site. Tambo just posted, go to more right here, go to tutorials. He just posted the NFL tutorial for the Shiptimizer today, so definitely check that out. PGA Shiptimizer, MLB Shiptimizer. Very, very excited stuff. I'm going to run through. When we talk pitching today, I think it's a good slate. When you're talking Gyiraszin, I'm going to mess with some settings on the MLB Shiptimizer because I think it's a really hard slate. Like we're going to be touching on min uniques, salary. So when you're talking and we're going through these pitching, I'm going to go to the MLB Shiptimizer and we're going to mess around a little bit. I do think, I'm not going to give it away, but today, over a lot of days, I mean, it's always important to look hitter rankings, stack rankings. I'm always looking at pitcher rankings. So many good pitchers on the slate, though. So many teams, very, very similar in my opinion. Again, I'm not going to check these today for free. Got to be a member, but I do think it's a very good day to look at these rankings. We're going to talk some pitching, though, Gyiraszin. Again, I'm going to be messing with the Shiptimizer in the background when you are talking. As you see, 820, that's the date, the main slate, exactly what we need. Sorted by salary. I always do it, say, 8K all the way and above. So we have Cole Ragans up top, all the way down to Jose Berrios. And the chalk to start will be Cole Ragans at 95 and Robbie Ray at 86. If you look at ownership, we have them as the two highest pitchers on the slate today, Ragans and Ray. So Wheeler coming in third. I agree with all of that. Again, sorting by salary. I'm going to let you talk. We're going to be messing around with stuff in the background. We do have tutorials for this as well, but I think it's a good day to do this. So Ragans all the way down to Berrios. What you got in the 8K and above for pitching, Gyiraszin?
Man, I got to agree with you about being a tough slate here today. I cracked open that board here today. I was thinking, all right, big boy today, 13 big games. And then I started looking, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a pretty tough one. But, yeah, definitely like this slate here today. But I just want to give a quick little shout out real quick. Bridge Lion, you cracking me up here. I don't know. I haven't seen you posted too much, so welcome here to the show here with SHIPIT Nation. But you know what? I'll tell you what, you might be a little being sarcastic there, but I'm going to tell you what, one of the best pieces of advice I ever got when I started out playing DFS by a man named Beep on the Jeep. And I'll tell you what, he's one of the best tournament players, came right out the gate when fantasy sport DFS started. And he told me, if your lineup can't come in last, it probably won't come in first. So, I thought to myself, what the hell does this genius mean by that? It took me a little bit to figure it out. But, basically mean don't be afraid to get a little different sometimes because, too, like when you ever see Hoop had a pretty big screenshot the other day on MMA, and I was going to comment on it. If you see he had maybe 10 teams, but if you notice, they were all the way across the board down that board, man. So he had some shit teams that came in last. He just knows how to diversify himself across the board, which is a very important thing as we, as you play DFS. But I just wanted to bring that up. Title. I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought that was a pretty funny comment, but definitely some relevance there. Don't think that there's no truth to that statement about coming in last. But so let's dive into these pitching real quick. I'll tell you, I think this one is pretty tough. First, you open it up, you're like, shit, we got Robbie Ray against the damn White Sox, and my man got just blasted last time. I don't even think he made it out the first inning last time here. We were actually laughing about it. I wrote up in the slate plan. I don't know, man. Robbie Ray playing him as chalk. He ended up having minus 8 points that game there. So, here we got a Robbie Ray slate, but then you look at the top. I think the two top pitchers over on DK are my two favorite, and that's Ragans against the Angels. Angels are not very good. The only one I really kind of fear in that lineup is maybe Joe Adell, maybe Neto a little bit, but the shortstop's so tough. You really can't throw in a guy like Neto. But, man, Philadelphia here in this spot here against Atlanta. Atlanta can't take too many more injuries. I mean, man, they just lost Austin Riley. This lineup is just totally beat up. They're already in top 6 or 7 in all of strikeout percentage against right-handed pitching. You got a guy here, Zach Wheeler, especially on FanDuel. I think Zach Wheeler is even more relevant. I mean, this guy here is a quality start machine. So definitely like Zach Wheeler here today against Atlanta. And then you move down a little bit. I'll tell you, you really could look at a lot of pitching options here today, and almost anybody. We could sit in a room and talk about all these pitchers, and you could probably make an argument here to play almost everybody today, to be truthful. Now, for me, heel against the Indians, as we talk many times, we don't like to go against the Indians. The strikeout percentage isn't there. Heel's also just been so inconsistent. I think that one is just way too risky for the 26 pitchers we got out here today. Blanco against Boston. I can't go there, man. I mean, I like the lefties here in that spot. I think Devers in a pretty good spot. Duran. I mean, I just can't go against Blanco. I think that one's pretty tough, but hey, I wouldn't fault you if you wanted to. But Robbie Ray, I think, is interesting here with his 30% strikeout rate. I feel a little differently about Robbie Ray today. I think I actually like him a little bit more than I did last time because he wasn't so, he was the 100% pure chalk the last time we talked about Robbie Ray. So I don't like Robbie Ray in them situations. So I think I feel a little bit better at this one, especially with his upside against a really shit-ass White Sox team here at 8,600 over on DK. I think he's a decent play. Lopez against Philadelphia. I'm really concerned still about Lopez. Came out the gate pretty well, but coming off the IL, I've just been a little concerned about him. I actually kind of prefer the Phillies bats here on that side. Bailey Ober, I think he's kind of lost in the shuffle for me. I mean, he's a decent pitcher that we used here on this slate. Here we got him against a San Diego team that I just really not wanting to been picking on here lately. They've actually kind of turned it around here recent times and been hitting the ball pretty well. I get Miller against the Dodgers. I'm kind of concerned for Miller here in this spot here, especially with the Dodgers getting some of these bats back. We see Mookie coming back. We got Muncy coming back. I think that is something to be concerned about. Anderson against Kansas City. I think that's another one that's kind of lost in the shuffle for me that I just can't even really, see myself looking at here. Kansas City with Witt's been hitting pretty well. They're just not as powerful as I'd like, a team to be, the Royals. Bradford, I think, is really interesting against Pittsburgh here. They do struggle against lefties. I like Bradford here at that spot, 8,100. I think he's a guy we could pivot to that I do like, especially on FanDuel. I think he's a pretty good play. Like him over there. And then Berrios rounding out the 8K here. I just don't think I could do it. I think I like the lefties here for Cincinnati here today against Toronto. But, man, Toronto's bullpen shit too. So I think Cincinnati's in a pretty good spot. But I'll tell you, when we get the hitting title, I think hitting's pretty spread out. I think today is a day on pitching that you can feel comfortable even playing the guys you think are going to be chalky, because I think you're going to see such a difference in bats and everything today. So I think today is actually a day, I hate to say play who you want, but I think today is a day you could pretty much say play who you want because of a 13-game slate. I think it's going to be pretty spread out. If I was to say there's going to be a chalky pitcher on the whole slate, I'm going to say it's probably going to be Reagan's. I would say
Ray. It'll be Ray and Reagan's.
So, yeah, we have it here as well.
Yep, we have those two. Yep.
I think Ray may be a little higher than we show there. I think Ray may be in that Zach Wheeler range. I think those three are going to be the top three. But I don't mind Robbie Ray today. And as I said, moving down a little bit, I think Bradford's pretty interesting too. Yeah,
good breakdown. Again, these ownerships are flagship. So like the big $15, the big $3 stuff, big field I'm talking. When you're talking $100 single entry, the 254 max, or the 121 that would be, the 254 max. Obviously, the higher owned, it's like the barbell approach. The higher owned pitchers become more higher owned in those contests. The lower owned pitchers, like you see Blanco at 11%, or like let's see Bailey Ober at 6%. He might be 3% or 4%, something like that. So usually the higher owned become higher in the single entry, higher dollar stuff. The more people there are, which is what we're projecting. I do think Reagan's and Ray the highest projected ownership. Ray going to get super esteemed? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he was like 38%. But what I will say is everyone keeps like chalk Ray. You never play him when he is chalky like he is projecting now. So people like to get away, and there is enough pitchers on the slate. I like where our ownership's at, but I mean, projecting ownership in baseball is really hard. So when you were talking, I was going through Gyiraszin. You liked Reagans, you liked Wheeler, your two favorites. So what I did, we have Reagans at 32%. I put min exposure at 35. So what that's saying is we want to for sure get overweight to our projected ownership. If we got 80%, it does allow that. Again, maybe I don't want 80%. So you'd go something like 77, putting a random number. Wheeler, 30%. I don't want to be 3 times the field though. So I'd go 70. But again, you said I do not like Luis Gil against the Guardians. I'm with you. They don't strike out much. They're tough. Gil has control issues as well. On a slate like this with so many good pitchers, he is a pivot as you see in the top tier. But I agree with you. Like, bats are so spread out. You can eat chalk pitching. I even think you can eat Reagans and Ray chalk pitching because there's so many good teams that people are going to stack. Ownership's going to be spread out there. And I want to say right away, we're not at hitting yet. But I'm almost always a stacking guy. 5-2-1's my favorite. That's where I've seen most of the sharps go as of late. 5-3's fine. Again, 4-3s you can mix in, etc. But I do think this is a stacking slate. And why I say that is it's so hard to like, who's going to be the team today? Is it there's only one team above a team total of 5. So 13 games, 26 teams. I'm expecting at least one of these teams to put up a crooked number, but it's not great hitting conditions across the country. The team totals aren't high. There is solid pitching. So there might be a lot of 5-3 games, 4-2, whatever it is. You want that one team that puts up 10 plus. If I have all 5-man stacks or something, and again, a way to do that, go to build settings. You go to team stacks right here. I want 70% 5-2s, 20% 5-3s, and I'll let the other 10% do its thing right there. So I really do think it's a stacking slate like I do most slates, but even today, because it's hard to pinpoint offenses for me, like you said, but I'm going to pinpoint at least one team is going to go off. Then I hope to have those 5-man stacks. Also, the min uniques down here, this is diversifying. So this is what it says. When you're talking about hoop, he has bubbles on the far left and the far right. This is saying that there's no lineup that'll have all the same players with just one difference or 2 differences. This will make at least a 3-player difference in every single lineup. So you're playing a 3v3 in every lineup. At the worst, on this slate, I would definitely turn up your min uniques because, again, I think there's loaded pitching. There's a lot of hitting. I want diversification. It only takes one team you got to take first place. Again, like all the bubbles on the left, one bubble at first place, you're winning all the cheese. So that's the little stuff that I did right away. Again, you can mess around. You want a certain player under 5%, at least one of them. I lowered the salary range a little bit. If you wanted to go 48-4, whatever it may be. But back to pitching, I'm with you on Reagans. Second highest K prop on the slate behind Robbie Ray. Again, I'm fine eating chalk today at pitching. Wheeler the same way. Solid matchup with the Braves. I didn't like Luis Gil. You didn't like him. Blanco was one I had a little more interest in than you. And that's mainly because, like, if I do want to pivot in the top tier between Ray, Wheeler, Reagans, I don't like Gil. Blanco's K prop 5.5 -155, -165 on the over. He has shown to have some big upside. Again, there is downside. The matchup against Boston isn't the best, but I want guys that can give me 20 plus on this slate. And I do think Blanco is a very good ownership pivot, and he does have that upside, one of the higher K props on the slate. So you didn't like him much. I put max 15. We'll meet in the middle. We'll say we'll allow a little overweight if we need, but if the Shiptimizer gives us 0, since you didn't like him, that's fine as well. Robbie Ray, again, I made sure we got some because you said you did like him in this spot, but he is chalky. So I kind of am going to let the Shiptimizer do its thing. A lot of people like Nades, I bet you he won't play Robbie Ray. Chalk Robbie Ray, he never plays. But like we're saying on this slate, there's so many spread out bats ownership. You can play Robbie Ray, Reagans, and you can find a 6% owned stack, 5-man it up, and then you'll get different that way. Like I just want points at pitching. Ray, the highest K prop on the board. Obviously love picking on the White Sox. Makes a lot of sense there. I'm with you on Ronaldo Lopez. As you can see, we have a poor projection on him. Phillies are not someone I want to pick on. Going down a little bit farther, Bailey Ober. Jake, you know what? I'm going to say at least 2% because Jake, our man in chat, always in here, says 8,400 for Bailey Ober is juicy. So you see only 6% owned. He definitely is going to get lost in the shuffle. I think Bradford will be the higher owned guy. People do want to go down a little bit. As you see, Bradford, we have at 13%. Barrios, and we'll get to Pivetta down below. Bailey Ober is a pivot there. I mean, I'm indifferent about it. Like, he projects better than Lopez, Miller, Anderson. I like him more than all of them. And I X'd out Anderson, Miller, and Lopez. Don't want to pick on the Dodgers. Don't want to pick on KC. Bradford, solid K-prop right there as well. I mean, he's been solid in the short innings that he has had this year. So you liked him a lot. 13% ownership. I said, let's at least get 18%. And again, I'm just spitballing numbers. This is the stuff I do, though. I give the Shiptimizer a lot of room to mess around with stuff, but I'm saying I want to get overweight for sure. If you think this 13%, you think he comes in 18%, then move it to 22 or whatever number you got. This is just something that I compare right next to it. It makes it easy. Berrios against Cincy, you didn't like him much, so I capped him at 6. Just say we'll cap him at 8. I'm indifferent. The projection points is fine relative to in his range, so I would trust that. Now let's go down 7.9K Eric Fetty, all the way down to, should have sorted by pitcher, all the way down to Brian Sammons at 6K. Break down Fetty all the way down below.
All right. Yeah, we got a handful of pitchers. Like I said, there's so many pitchers here today I think you could use. I think, like I said, I think for me, there isn't too many guys below Bradford that really get me excited. I mean, you could look at Nick Pivetta with his 30% strikeout rate, but man, that fly ball rate, home runs that he gives up does kind of concern me a little bit, but I do think he's going to get some ownership here today. That's for sure. You got Keller against Texas. No thanks. I think he's in over his head. You got Baz against Oakland. I think you could get some ownership there. We like the park here today. You got a pretty cheap price, 7,600. I mean, if you can get 15 to 18 points out of Baz here today with the strikeout capability that Oakland lineup has, I think that's interesting too. I think Buehler's really interesting against Seattle. Man, I just wish Buehler kind of would have been back a little bit more. Last start, he had 87 pitches. That's a little bit intriguing. But man, this Tampa Bay lineup is just shit, man. It's just cheeks. It sucks. So, I like attacking this Tampa Bay lineup. I think Buehler is a risky option that you could definitely throw into the pool here today. That does probably have some upside. I mean,
he's going on Seattle.
What's that?
Seattle, Buehler. You're talking.
Yeah, I mean Seattle. What am I talking about?
You're good.
Seattle, Tampa might as well be the same damn team in my mind.
Shirt.
Yeah, safety meeting. So, but yeah, especially against Seattle too. So I had them both written down as guys that we want to get. We'll get at the other guy here, Estes, in a minute. That's who I'm thinking about here too. But so yeah, I think Buehler's a little interesting. Kramer against the Mets, not really going there. Quintana against Baltimore, I can't do that either. Not interested there. I think Montas I had to look at that one for a second time. Montas against St. Louis. I mean, he's been actually pitching fairly decent here recent times. Got up over 102 pitches. I'm just concerned with him. St. Louis has been hitting the ball a little bit better. I kind of like the St. Louis side a little bit more than Montas. But Assad against Detroit. The only good thing about that matchup is the wind is blowing in over there in Wrigley. So I think that could be interesting there as well. Perez, man, we just need to put that guy out to the pasture. He just needs to start pitching some softball games out there. Matthew Boyd against the Yankees. Man, I'd like to see Matthew Boyd a little bit more here in the near future. Guy definitely with some strikeout upside. I mean, shit, he's only 6,600. You got him against the Yankees here. He did go 80 pitches. Maybe he goes a little bit more.
5.5 K prop. One of the best in this lower range. It's better than Estes. It's better than Estes.
So I think Boyd's a guy here that's kind of a sneaky guy that you could look at. But, man, it's just not comfortable going against that New York lineup. I'll tell you what, if they throw out a lineup like they did in that Little League game, I mean, I was kind of like Jason Dominguez. Like, why the fuck would you give that guy that opportunity? Like, pull him up, play him in that game. Like, come on, man. I mean, other than like Soto and Judge, like Stanton seems like he can't hit shit here recently. He's swinging at balls that he's missing them by like 5 feet. Like a dude is just doesn't even seem to be locked in. So, I mean, hey, Boyd definitely got some sneaky upside there. Martin against San Francisco. I think that's another low price guy that you could potentially look at. You got a matchup in San Francisco. I mean, this guy could be a punt pitcher that you could look at. And then you got Spears not going there. Estes. against Tampa is the guy that I mentioned. Tampa's just been so bad. Maybe we get 20 points. He did have 23 points against the Dodgers 3 starts ago. So Estes does have a little bit of upside. He did have 6 Ks at that start. He's in the mid-80s, mid-90 pitches. Man, they just been so bad. But, I mean, just looking all up and down this pitching slate, I think there's guys all up and down. You got several options in the lower tier. You got several options up in the upper tier. I'm just kind of looking at, okay, who's got some of the better matchups? I keep going back to Robbie Ray. When I hit team OPS against left-handed pitching all season, the Chicago White Sox are dead ass last in all of MLB. So I think that kind of helps my case a little bit with Robbie Ray. So, you know, I am a little concerned there with his last start, but definitely the upside's there. But yeah, like I mentioned, there's all kinds of guys we could use today. We could probably sit down and talk about 15 guys that we could legit have arguments for. I'm sure if you had, you know, 10 of us sitting down, we'd all write down our pitchers. We'd probably have a few of the same guys, but probably after 3 or 4, I'd probably be all messed up and be all different kind of people. So I think today is a pretty good slate here to just kind of mix up, play who you feel you're comfortable with. But bats are going to be really spread out here today too. So, but I think Reagan's, Wheeler, Ray, and then I also like Bradford as well here today.
Yeah, I'll say I really don't like pitching below AK much. It's kind of Nate, I think, put it pretty well. Where is he? I'm not overthinking pitcher, Wheeler, Reagan's. I want guys that I think can get me 20 plus on this slate. We have 26 pitchers taking the mound. Again, pretty cool weather across the country. Bats, like, yeah, if you play the Yankees, you want to play Judge. You play the Royals, you want to play Bobby Witt. But a lot of these lineups have cheat pieces. If you go to the bottom of the order, you can get secondary stacks. Like, you need to get pitching right today. I just don't see too many guys below 8K that I really want to get to. Pivetta would be one of them. Again, that kind of surprised me. 5.5K prop minus 135 for Pivetta. Blanco 5.5K prop minus 165. Like, Boston's not a bad lineup. Houston's not a bad lineup, but both guys, I mean, have K upside. So that's kind of the low owned. If I had to get to like pivots off of Ray, off of Bradford, off of Reagan's, off of Wheeler, I do like looking in that Houston-Boston game personally. But like, I'm not getting to Bueller. I think he might be on a little pitch count. He's looked so bad this year. I think his best outcome, I mean, not his best. Obviously, his 99th percentile, he'll get you old Bueller, and he might get you 21. But I don't want to take that risk. I like Bazemore against Oakland, so he'd be one guy down below. I just talked about Pivetta. I don't know. I don't really like Fetty. I don't want Keller. No thanks to really any of these guys. Like, Estes might, like, if people want to punt, I do think they go Estes. I mean, yeah, Boyle did just absolutely light him up, like Nades is saying. But what are the odds that happens again? And again, if people go all the way down, I think they do flock to Estes. Maybe he'd be someone down here. It's like, I'll put it at 12%. The worst thing, I get double the ownership right here. So you can see as we talk through it, we talk through the pitching pool. I'm going to raise Reagan's. I'm going to raise Wheeler. Because, again, these are the guys I for sure know I like. Robbie Ray, I bumped him up a little bit because you said you do like him. Again, I still will give the option for us to be underweight if the Shiptimizer wants it. Jake, I raised Bailey Ober a little bit. We'll go 6%. You had a lean on Ober. We didn't have too many low-owned pitchers. Bradford, I'll bump up a little bit as well. And then Boz, I'll bump up to like 7. So right here, as you see, and then these that I X'd, as you can see, Mitch Keller, when I X them, their max ownership 0, so that they can't get that. So let me just run this quick. Again, then we'll talk to bats, but this is kind of how you, if you want to do it, look at the show, look at the slate plan, look at whatever you are, and then you can adjust your player pool, kind of customize it. And from there, again, the only things I did as well, I said at least one batter. We'll go 2 players, which will be batters because we have pitching. You know how we're pretty we're eating a lot of chalk at pitching, it looks like, at least for our min exposures. Let's make sure we at least have 2 bats under 5% to make us a little different. I bumped this down from 49K. We'll go to 48 too, because if I'm playing like a White Sox stack against Robbie Ray, they are really cheap. And again, I prefer leaving money and getting a 5-man stack than, okay, let's take out an outfielder on the White Sox and upgrade to Aaron Judge for 2,500. That's a way you can get different. I mean, obviously Judge is a better likely to outscore the White Sox guy, but I would rather a 5-2-1 or something, get a 5-man stack, as you can see, which is why in here I'm saying at least 70% 5-2, 5-3 is 20%. I'm giving a little leeway for the others. So only other change I made is the min uniques. It was 1. Again, I do not just want 1v1s in my build. So let's say we're playing 30 lineups in the $3 today. You know what? I said 40. I typed that in. So let's build this out quick. Again, on the website, you can see it says where our shows are. Definitely check out stack rankings, our hitter rankings, our pitcher rankings. College football will be here this week. Very excited for that. No better time. So we're going to talk bats in a sec, but the Shiptimizer right here will give us a little hint at what stacks we do like. Any final thoughts wrapping up pitching, Gyiraszin? Again, I like staying in the upper tier more. I'm not as worried about ownership because when we get to bats, ownership's going to be spread out. Again, I just know I want a 5-man stack in majority of my lineups, as I showed for the Shiptimizer. And the more, like you see, it's going a little slower. If you made no adjustments, it would already be done. It would have been done a while ago. I went through players. I went through uniques. I went through build settings. Like I told the Shiptimizer a lot. An optimizer it does what you tell it to do. Some people are like, I just ran it and I lost, or I just ran it and I won like first place or whatever. At the end of the day, like that's not the right way to approach it, in my opinion. So any thoughts on that, or you want me to talk through this quick?
Well, you can finish up.
All right. So as you can see, we made sure to have everybody above or below, at least 2 batters below 5% right here. This is where you see the salary. So 5-2-1 right here, 5-2. As you can see, this we gave 10% leeway for the Shiptimizer to give us more no stacks. I don't like a lineup like this, so I would make sure I didn't play it. But it does tell you right here, because I did 70% 5-2s, 20% 5-3s. This is one of those 10% lineups right there that gave us 3 as a primary stack. Again, I would not play these lineups. I think they're bad, but it shows you our projected points, how many players are above 5%, below 2%, our projected ownership. And you can go, like you sort right here. Wow, 136 a lot. It looks like 103 could be a sweet spot in this tournament or something like that. Maybe 70 is too low. Then you can just go back to the build settings. Change total ownership. Looks like 109 look good, but 70 looked a little too low or something. Again, you can like just go back, run the builds, see what it's showing. Right here, how you see like what are you overweight on? Click on exposures. You can see your most overweight right now. It likes the Royals a little bit. It likes the Rays a little bit. Does not like Blanco. We're underweight on Berrios, Pivetta, some of the big bats. You can sort right here. Reagan's, we're overweight because we told it to be overweight. 42%. We got 47, 23, 42. You go down to first base. Again, you can sort by leverage. You can sort by like your actual ownership, what you got, etc. This might be a little too, this is too much for me. I don't want 35% at one position. So I would make sure to go and bump this down, something like 17%. Again, I wanted to show off the Shiptimizer a little bit. We ran through pitching. This was the pitching exposure we got. We wanted these as our highest owned pitchers. We got it. A little bit of Buehler, Berrios, Ober, Estes. And you can see, like, we're still under the field on them, which is what we wanted. But we have one Matthew Boyd lineup. Okay, if Matthew Boyd goes out and gets you 25, you're not completely dead. This is about the diversification stuff we're talking. No pitcher over 50%. This is something I'd be cool with for my pitching pool. I wouldn't want 35% Garcia and stuff like that. So wanted to show off the Shiptimizer a little bit, how you can use it, how you can apply it when we are talking on the show. Hope that helped a little bit. And again, go to the website. If you sign up for the NFL only package, the early bird package, you will see, or you will get the Shiptimizer until September 5th kickoff for MLB, for MMA, for PGA. Otherwise, it's all on the site. Our annuals are best deal. We have a 6-month, monthly. If you do join, of course, get in the Discord. Let's talk some bats, Gyiraszin. It showed that we like the Royals a little bit, like the Rays a little bit. Again, I do not want 35% of anybody at a certain position today because I think it is very, very, like the difference between a lot of these teams is very close. The team totals are close. The weather's pretty close in a lot of spots. So I'm going to lean on you a lot. I'm going to lean on our hitter rankings, which is up on the site, of course, our stack rankings. Let's see if we can find some spots to target. First game, Cleveland Guardians, New York Yankees, Matthew Boyd, Luis Gil on the mound, 8 total, 70 degrees in Yankee Stadium. Take it away. What you got?
Yeah, I think this is one here you could either use Boyd or stack up the Yankees. I think it's one of those situations you could, and not for leverage sake. It's just Boyd is one of them pitchers that could literally go out and throw just a masterpiece. If I mean, this guy's definitely got the capabilities. Like I said, he's just coming back. But, man, that Yankee lineup, I'm just not all that impressed with, especially against Boyd. So, but I think the Yankees, on the other hand, Boyd is also home run prone a little bit here. So in the past. So, you know, it's one of those spots that I think you could use in both scenarios. I don't mind either or. Now going here against Gil on the other side here with the Guardians, really not all that impressed here. Lately with Gil, I just don't feel good enough with this Indians lineup to stack them up. I mean, Jose Ramirez would be interesting, except you're going to have to pay up for him. Maybe you could use a Josh Naylor if you wanted to. If you wanted to use the left side, go left side against him. I think that's something you may want to do there. But man, just give me maybe a one-off or two. Maybe give me some Yankee bats, maybe a little bit further down. I'm not going to have the Yankees in my top stacks here today, but I do respect Boyd a little bit. I'm actually kind of leaning a little bit more on that Matthew Boyd side. I think he is a sneaky pitcher you might be able to use today. So I'm just going to stay away from the Yankees.
Yeah, I don't like this game too much either. It would be, to be honest, I think I like it more as like one-offing Judge or one-offing. I don't even like Stanton really as much lefty. Like Boyd, a fly ball pitcher, gets hit harder against righties. So Stanton, Judge, Glaber, maybe Volpe down below. But I don't love it as much as a 5-man stack personally. And Guardians, yeah, they're pesky enough not to like Gil and who he's priced around, but I don't like 5-manning them either. And I want to touch on this. Nate's kind of answered it. Doesn't usually the Shiptimizer take some fun and skill of doing all hand builds. I don't know if you meant like taking it away or if like it's fun, but we just showed like Nate's, he only plays a couple 2 to 3 teams, but he always uses it. And he's not an MME player because he does like what I do. He runs it normal. He sees what people are playing. Then he'll go in, he'll X out. If you're only running 2 to 3 teams, you could have X'd out 20 of those 26 pitchers, left 6 in your pool, made sure like 33% if you're playing 3 lineups. Hitting, you can go to your stacks, X out a lot of teams. So if you're only playing 1, 2, 3 teams, it's still very easy to use, and you can even be more concentrated. I think using it for regardless. I use an optimizer if I'm playing 1 team, if I'm playing 150 teams. I think is very cool to use. You can see the projected ownership points. Make sure you're not giving up too much. But again, yeah, we just want to do a little rundown there. Nate's answered that well. Not much interest, more one-offs for me.
I think what's best for the optimizer, if you are hand building, is to give you ideas. Like you see different things. Like if you have 10 different optimizers, you could set the settings all the same on the 10. They're going to give you 1 or 2 different one-off guys. That's what I think you can kind of use and just kind of see how lineups are built. You know, you're going to see something. And then especially, you know, I got a handful of optimizers, and I run things and I'll see stuff. And I know I'm probably on some of the same settings as some others, because I'll pull up a lineup and be like, damn, I'm one guy off of this guy, or, you know, whatever. Like, and I know for the most part, you know, like what optimizers people are probably generally using, especially, you know, like if I'm with SHIPIT, you're going to figure I'm using the Shiptimizer, or, you know, you're with RG, you're probably using that. I mean, it's not that difficult, but I just like to see all of it, Title. I think that's what's pretty cool about, especially with baseball. I might throw a one-off or two at you. You might be like, oh shit, I can play this dude here, or, you know, or somebody that you're just not thinking about. That might be a min price guy that, you know, you might see. So I think that's the importance of running optimizers a lot of times. And a lot of times too, I like to take an optimizer and then kind of make my own 2 versus 2 switch sometimes, because I think that makes the lineup better sometimes. So, you know, to each is their own, but for me, that's what I like it for, just to kind of go, you know, a little further what you were talking about.
Yeah, a lot of ways to use it. I have plenty of optimizers throughout as well. I've been in the industry 7 years, 8 years before Shipping Nation. Like, it's cool to see all of them, and they're all different in their own ways. But like King of Smack saying, it's really cool seeing the projection and the projected ownership. 2 of the biggest things right there. We'll keep rolling, Gyiraszin. 12 games to talk about still, plenty to go. Some of these will be X's, some will be more interesting. This one more of an X for me. Cincinnati Reds, Toronto Blue Jays, Carson Spears, Jose Berrios on the mound. I say an X, but then we're talking about probably one of the worst pitchers on the slate in this Carson Spears cat. Vlad's absolutely been on fire. So if I am playing the Blue Jays and I am 5-man stacking them, I do want to play Vlad in that stack. Other than that, they're really cheap. Like Vlad's 5.6. Other than that, nobody is above. Only Springer is above 4K. Then everyone else is below that. So they fit easy with the Reagans and a Wheeler or a Ray and something up top. I do want Vlad if I play them. 4.2 team total, though. I mean, that's kind of the nature of the slate. So I'll let you take it away.
Man, I'd like to play some Blue Jay. I just can't do it, man. They're just on my list so far this season. They just don't have enough power up and down that line. That lineup stinks, man. Other than Vlad, I mean, who's absolutely been smashing lately. If you want to use him a one-off, I don't blame you, but I just don't like this lineup 1 through 9 to turn itself over enough. I mean, maybe it was like a mini stack if you wanted to go some spots like that. But Cincinnati, definitely. I don't know. I think the red side is probably in a better spot, I think, than the Blue Jays for me against Berrios.
Lefties.
So I love the lefties here, as you mentioned. Fly ball percentage, 31% to lefties. I mean, we already know we got Ellie De La Cruz. I think Friedel's pretty interesting as well. Jake Fraley you could use. So, I mean, I think those guys are in a really good spot here. So I think some Reds are interesting. I think they're kind of in the middle of the pack for me as far as, a stack goes. I think I'd like the Reds more of a mini a little bit. Maybe if you could squeeze in. Shortstop's going to be a bitch. I mean, shortstop's been one of these positions to where, I mean, man, it's just loaded at shortstop here in recent times, especially, with, Mookie having shortstop eligibility. Seager's been smashing. You got Ellie. I mean, it's shortstop. Gunner's been smashing. Witt. I mean, then that's that position been putting up some numbers. So, Ellie is in definitely a good spot, but I like the lefties here. I think Friedel, Ellie, Fraley, I think all these guys are pretty good spots.
Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely the lefties. Friedel bombed yesterday. Ellie can steal 2 or 3 bags, get there that way. Shortstop's definitely good, though. Again, a mini stack, probably both sides at best. I do think Vlad's a good one-off. Doug's talking about Wagner. Can make that a mini stack if you want to go that way as well. But a game I don't love 5-manning too much. Another game, really, I don't love this next one. Baltimore, New York Mets, Dean Kramer, Jose Quintana on the mound, 70 degrees in New York. I prefer the Mets side because Kramer definitely gets hit pretty hard against lefties. Lindor right at the top, talking shortstop at another high price one right there. Nimmo's a little interesting. Winker, I guess, if you need it down there. I mean, Francisco Alvarez pimped that walk-off better than pretty much anybody yesterday. If you want to ride a little hot streak there, that was cool to watch. But Lindor and Nimmo mainly for me at the top. Again, probably more one-offs. Orioles against Quintana, ground ball pitcher, pretty expensive, the bats you want. Like, I don't see myself really getting a much 6-1 gunner. Santander, 5.3K. Holiday down there, lefty. I don't like the Orioles much. It'd be the Mets one-off lefties for the most part.
Yeah, I like the Mets, the one-offs here. I mean, Kramer is a little bit more of a fly ball lean. So definitely like some of these lefties here that you mentioned with Lindor, Nimmo, Winker. I think these guys are on you can, obviously JD and Alonso in the middle of that lineup. So I don't mind. I do like the Mets side a little bit. I'd probably put the Mets maybe right outside my top 5 of the day. I wouldn't put them in my top 5, but I'd say, they're in consideration here today. I'm just not a fan here of really attacking Kramer on this big old slate like we got here today. I think it would be more, like you mentioned, of a mini. I do like the lefties, as you said, too, as well. So, yeah, I think I'd just kind of leave that one alone. In Quintana, man, I'll tell you what, like I dug into this one a little bit because Quintana does have more of a ground ball lean to lefties. But, fly ball lean, he does have a little bit more over to right side. So, somebody like Santander, Mountcastle, I think could be interesting. Jimenez. But I'd rather use the Orioles against a righty than a lefty. So I think I'd just kind of leave that one alone, even though I think Quintana could get beat up a little bit here. But I think the Orioles, I think I would just more rather stick with some of the righties. I think Mountcastle will be a guy that I think you might be able to use as a one-off.
Makes sense. I like this game a little more. I'm curious on your thoughts. Philadelphia Phillies, Atlanta Braves, Zach Wheeler, Ronaldo Lopez on the mound. One of the best hitting weather on the slate, a little over 80 degrees. in Atlanta, wind blowing out a little bit. I don't like the Braves side. I'm definitely Team Wheeler over Team Braves, even at ownership. But Ronaldo Lopez making his first start back in about 3 weeks off of the IL. Philly's not a team you really want to see the first game back. Guaranteed ninth inning at bats. I mean, and he gets hit harder against lefties. He got two of the better power lefties right at the top, and Schwarber, Harper. Maybe that's when you'd go a Boz a little lower, or Bradford down below too. But Brandon Marsh is all the way down there, 3.3K. I don't mind Bohm and Trey. Like, I like them more than I'd like JT at 4.4 than Casty at 4.2. So it'd mainly be Schwarber, Harper, definitely the two favorites. Stott, Marsh, all the lefties, and Stott and Marsh don't break the bank. Then Turner and Bohm in between the Schwarber Harpers at the top of the lineup. I think the Phillies are a little interesting. You would have to go a cheaper mini stack, maybe one cheaper SP2 like the Bradfords are talking. You like Ober, you like Bueller, whatever it may be. But of the teams we talked about, and again, so many of these teams look pretty similar. Good hitting weather, guaranteed ninth inning at bat, someone coming off of the IL, and just a good lineup in general. So yeah, I like Phillies.
I don't mind the Phillies here at all, really. Lopez has struggled a little bit. He's gave up 21 hits his last 15 innings. So hasn't been the Lopez that he had coming out the gate. Coming out the gate, the guy was pitching pretty well, but ever since he came back from his injury, just a little bit concerned with him. So I do like the Phillies. Schwarber's been absolutely smashing everybody here. Obviously, I like this Phillies lineup just more than like that Blue Jays lineup we talked about that I just don't like 1 through 9. But this Phillies lineup is definitely a lineup I could get on board with almost any day just because of this lineup they roll out. But definitely like the lefty. Schwarber, Harper, I think is definitely in play here today. Stott, if you want to look at. But yeah, I think Philly's interesting. I think I don't have them in my top 5 either, but I think they're pretty close to that.
Makes some sense. Got to keep it rolling. Plenty games to still talk about. Brewers, Cardinals, Frankie Montas, Eric Fetty on the mound. 75 degrees in St. Louis. I see 7.5 total. I see two team totals below 4, and I just do not have much interest right away, at least as a 5-man stack. Now, Montas gets hit a lot harder against lefties than righties. So some of the lefties, Alec Burleson should be in the 2-hole. Brendan Donovan maybe a little bit. Lars Nootbaar would be fine with any of those guys. Again, probably more mini stacks, one-offs that fit your lineup. Like they'll fit under like the 5% own thing. You want 1 or 2 batters under 5%, you can have a chalkier stack. Those guys fit there. So lefties against Montas. But I definitely don't like the 5-man. Brewers on the other side against Fetty. Fetty's been solid. I don't know. People talking William Contreras, Turang, Adames. I'll let you talk about the Brewers. I have seen a couple people mention them, though, so maybe I'm in the minority, but I don't like this game too much. Yeah, see, Jake likes them.
Everybody's talking about the Brewers because they've been kicking some damn ass here recently.
Yeah. All I hear about, man, I mean, like I'm down playing poker at Pato or anywhere I'm at the gym. Like all these I don't know if they're bandwagons, but you don't hear about the Brewers too much when they're not good like they have been. Now people can't stop talking about the Brewers.
Yeah, I mean, they have been hitting, man. You got to give it to them. So definitely Brew Crew have been smacking the crap out of it. What are they, 7th in OPS the last 7 or 15 days in all of MLB. So, yeah, Brew Crew been hitting it pretty well. I mean, you look at Montas, and Fetty here. I think both of these guys are both decent pitchers, but they both could definitely get beat up. I mean, Montas, as you mentioned, does get hit harder from the left side. So I think guys like Burleson, and I'll tell you what, this Cardinal stack is pretty cheap too. You got, somebody like Nootbaar. They had a Gorman back. I mean, Arenado's been hitting a little bit better. Contreras. I think this St. Louis lineup is something that they're getting a little bit better here. So I wouldn't take them out of your pool here today. I do like the Brewers though a little bit more. Brewers just been absolutely smashing. So Brew Crew for me, I think is more of a sneaky kind of stack here today. So Fetty definitely gives up a little bit more fly balls, a little bit more to the left side. I mean, man, this Brew Crew lineup's been just hitting the shit out of the ball too. So stealing bags, they're up there. Them and the Reds, Brew Crew and Reds, man, stealing bases way far and above everybody else too. So definitely a bonus when you're looking to play them teams. So I think the Brew Crew today is going to be one of my sneakier stacks here in this one.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like a lot of people hopping on the Brew Crew train. Ben ride or die with this squad, Nate says. Yeah, I mean, they're young, they're fast, they're deep, they play defense, pitching coming around. They are fun to watch, no doubt. Sucks that they lost Yelich, but today is just not my daily fantasy. On the day, I don't like them too much. People do like them, though. Let's keep it rolling. Next game, I mean, man, the man of the hour yesterday, Corey Seager in this one. Pirates, Rangers, Mitch Keller, Cody Bradford, 8 total in Texas. I mean, if you're talking about wanting to play Corey, like Mitch Keller, a solid pitcher. If you look at the last 2 games, been in the negatives, not good at all. And what does he get hit by? He gets hit by lefties. Corey Seager looks very solid, but with that being said, everyone saw what he did yesterday. He profiles well. He might be one of the more popular shortstops, and if that's the case, there's 26 teams on the slate. Like, we talked about Lindor, we talked about Ellie. There's so many. Yeah, if I'm playing 5-man Texas stacks, I probably want Seager, but everyone's going to play Seager in Texas stacks. So I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent. You definitely want lefties against Keller. He's been bad as of late. It makes sense, but I am kind of worried about the steam Corey Seager at one individual can get at one position that is so deep. That is one thing that I'm a little concerned for me. So no Pirates, though, for me. I like Bradford's side. What about you?
Yeah, no Pirates for me, but the Rangers are my favorite stack. So for me today, Seager, obviously a huge game yesterday. I liked him yesterday a little even bit more here today, especially against Mitch Keller. That dude's been giving up runs like a softball pitcher here recently. I think it's been 15 earned runs in his last 9 innings. Title 4 bombs he's been giving up. I don't know. Is he broken? Something ain't right. I mean, he's a better pitcher than that overall. But give me some of these Ranger bets, especially lefty. I think Corey Seager definitely is in a great spot here. Bounce back, Josh Smith, Lowe. I think all these guys pretty good. I like this lineup up and down. Yeah, give me some Rangers. I like some Rangers today.
My bad, had on mute. Gyirasin's favorite stack, the Rangers tonight. Makes some sense. Again, I wouldn't worry too much about ownership, but like Semien, not Semien, someone said Semien right here. Well, if you are playing Rangers stacks, people are going to go to the top of the order for sure. I do think Seager, it's hard to leave him off a 5-man stack. There's no doubt about that. It is baseball, though, so like if Ellie does outscore him, that is a way you can get a little different. All right, Myron, little Joey Bart call. I like the random one-offs out there. So little Joey Bart action maybe. Still got 7 games left. Appreciate all 200 of you guys watching. Always fun talking baseball with you guys. The chat always, hey, you guys what makes the show fun. All these comments, we really do appreciate you. All we ask for in return, the like button and subscribe button helps us out a ton. Keeps us doing these shows for free. And of course, if you want to join the nation, SHIPITNation.com. Plenty of packages. The best NFL early bird special. You get all the content, all access until football season. We do have monthly, 6-month, annual, all including the Discord. If you just want projections and ownership, we have a data package as well. Weekly, no Discord, but if you just want to check out the site, less than 2 weeks till Free Money Sunday, baby. Cannot wait. Keep it rolling. Next game, Tigers, Cubs. Brew Brisky / bullpen game, and Javier Assad on the mound. 7.5 total. 70 degrees, wind blowing in a little bit in Wrigley. Just not a game I really want to target personally.
Yeah, me either. Not even really one of us. With the wind blowing in, that Tiger, obviously Brisky, that's more of a bullpen game. So Tigers bullpen isn't too bad, so I don't like them getting to play matchup there with the Cubs. The Tigers, on the other hand, not interested in going against Assad, even though they have added some pieces back. That Tiger lineup's a lot different than it's been in the past weeks. Torkelson coming back. Yep, I still got it over here as my coaster too, by the way. And I got they added Jace Jung, Sweeney, and Carpenter came back. Obviously Riley Green came back. So they're going to throw quite a bit of lefties at him here today. But I can't go there. Wind blowing in. No thanks. Too many games. I'll pass. We can go to the next one.
Didn't y'all have Austin Meadows too? And he just hasn't seen the field.
Parker Meadows.
No, I think Austin Meadows. Like he was a stud for Tampa Bay like 3 years back.
And we made a trade. We get for Isaac Paredes. We traded with Tampa, and I believe he is having some kind of mental issues or some kind of anxiety issues. He hasn't been in baseball for quite some time. I actually thought with them drafting his brother, it may help him along a little bit, but yeah, I don't know exactly what's wrong. I do know he had some some health issues that he had a little bit of concern about. So hopefully he gets it better, maybe get back on the field, because, man, Tigers could use a guy with some talent like that, because that guy definitely was pretty good when he was raking with Tampa.
Oh, yeah, he was definitely good. Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was still with the Tigers organization. Let's keep it going. Next game, Los Angeles Angels, Kansas City Royals, Tyler Anderson, Cole Reagan's on the mound, the battle of southpaws. I mean, one southpaw is much better than Cole Reagan's. Tyler Anderson, though, not someone I really love to pick on. I mean, you take away 2 starts, his last one and one against the Mets. If you go back until like early July, he's had some pretty good starts there. Now, KC is not a team you like to pick on. Another absolute stud of a shortstop in Bobby Witt. Outside of the top 4, though, you get, so it's 4.5K Garcia, 6.6 Witt, Vinny P, 4.9, Salvi, 5.1. After that, though, Renfroe and below, nobody's above 3.5K. So this is a lineup you can stack with Bobby, with Salvi, pick your poison, go to the bottom of the order, do a wraparound stack, and you can play Reagan's Wheeler if you really wanted to. Now, I do think if I just say, like, who are the most popular teams on the slate, I think the Royals will be one of the most popular. Again, if you think they put up 10 runs, play the Royals. Like, ownership will be spread out enough. As you saw when we did our Shiptimizer build, Royals did pop a little bit. We do like the Royals over here for the constraints I did put. I'll let you take it away.
I think the Royals are going to get some ownership. I'm not really a fan going there. Anderson did get his ass kicked last game, gave up 7 earned runs. But, yeah, I mean, Royals been smashing. Bobby Witt's been hitting the ball, obviously, really well. I was on the Royals a little bit yesterday. They didn't get the job done for me. Hunter Renfroe's another guy, and Jejong, both of them you could use. Renfroe used to be like a guy kind of, like you saw a lefty, you're like, yep, Hunter Renfroe, got to put him in there. So Renfroe's another guy you could look at as a one-off. I think I'd just rather maybe mini stack or one-off the Royals today. I mean, you look at all team stats against lefty. Royals are kind of at the bottom of the barrel there as far as home runs, total home runs against lefties. So, Royals just a team, like I said, I wish I had a little more power up and down that lineup that we could play them. I do like the lineup with the speed and everything they have. They do have some decent pieces. It's just for me to full stack the Royals, I just don't see enough home run potential in that lineup. But I do see some guys like Renfroe today. I think interesting. Witt, you're obviously going to pay up for. I think that would be a pretty good pivot off of Corey Seager today. So who'd probably be a little more popular. I think Ellie might get some ownership too today. So, but yeah, I like the Royals. I don't like them as much as others that maybe full stack them, maybe a little bit more of a mini for me.
Yeah, makes some sense. They will get some ownership. I think I like them a little more than you because there's so many routes you can go with them. Cheap in the bottom half, more expensive in the top half. I do like if I 5-man the Royals, I do give a little bump to Cole Reagan's because you get more win equity there. And there's no like, oh, they're up 8-0. Like we're going to take Cole Reagan's out when he's absolutely dealing. Like you don't really worry about that stuff. So yeah, I would bump Cole Reagan's in 5-man Royal stack personally. Next game, Boston Red Sox, Houston Astros, Nick Pivetta, Ronel Blanco on the mound. Talked a little bit about this one. So it's 8.5 total. Both guys have solid K props, though, 5.5 and juice on the over. I will say big bump, not big maybe, but a solid bump to Pivetta. There's no Alex Bregman in the lineup, no Carantini in the lineup. The bottom of the order definitely looks worse, especially without Bregman. Like Yordong, I think is one of the best individual batters on the slate. I think he's a very, very fine one-off. Maybe like you go Royals stack or Texas stack and you don't play Seager, you don't play Witt, and you have the money to pay up for a Yordong. Little stuff like that in roster construction can help you eat more chalk around. Pivetta, fly ball pitcher. He has K upside, but he'll definitely give up a bomb or two here and there. Altuve grades out solid as well. Blanco on the other side, definitely worse against lefties than righties. And Boston should throw a decent amount of lefties at him, man. Like 6, 7 lefties they'll throw at him. I don't know. I think Boston definitely more interesting. Like I could play Blanco and I could play Boston. That's one of the like Blanco we projected for like 10% ownership. You play 10%, 2 of your 20 lineups. You play 2 Red Sox teams as well. You can get overweight to both. Boston 5-man's a little interesting. Yeah, top of the order mainly for me. Yordan on the other side. What about you?
If somebody would tell me that Pivetta is going to actually pitch to Yordan every at bat and not pitch around them, I'd pretty much probably bet he's going to hit a home run. I mean, I think it's a pretty good spot for Yordan. But other than that, I'm not too concerned about the rest of this Astro lineup. I do like Pivetta. We saw that Bregman's going to be out too. So, I mean, this Houston lineup, once you start getting in the bottom half of this lineup, reminds me of that Blue Jay lineup. It's just not. Just don't tickle it for me. This is not good enough. So I'm definitely not really that interesting. Yordan definitely be somebody I'd look at. And then you mentioned the Red Sox, man. The Red Sox got Cassis back, so that's another lefty bat they're going to be able to throw at Blanco here today. So I mean, their first 4 hitters, projected 4 hitter, 5 out of 6 are going to be lefties. So I mean, Devers I think is in a really good spot here. So, I mean, Devers been absolutely smashing the shit out of the baseball, especially against righties. So, I think that's an interesting spot. I think it's one of them kind of like the Yankees and Boyd spot we got. There's some spots here where you could play a pitcher, and there's some spots you can make an argument and stack against that guy. I think, that we got really a spot here on both sides here today that you could look at. So, I think it's an interesting game. It wouldn't surprise me if one of these 2 teams stacks around the winner tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, so I think, I think it'd be more the Red Sox though, just because I'm not a fan of that Houston lineup, but Pivetta does give up the long ball. So, but that Houston stack will be really low owned. I think that Red Sox stack's another one you could kind of call sneaky, but I don't mind it at all. Blanco, obviously decent pitcher, but as you mentioned, does give up a little more power to the left side.
Yep. You and I are in agreement. Couple games left. Twins, Padres, Bailey Ober, Martin Perez on the mound. 7.5 total. I mean, I don't like this game either side. The more I think about it, Jake, I think you might be honest. I'm a little bit with Bailey Ober as a pivot in that 8.4K range, but I got no bats in this one. And if I have any bats, it's a Shiptimizer giving me a one-off or a little mini 2-man stack below 5% in a very chalky lineup. That's what I mean by nothing. Like if I'm hand building, there's no one's going to be in this one for me. What's up,
I mean, I don't mind going after Martin Perez. If you wanted to go that route, I mean, Royce Lewis, is somebody you could always look at against lefties. I don't mind that at all. Jeffers been hitting a little better. Santana got moved up to that 2-hole. We know what happens when you get moved up to the 2-hole. So, and Margot, I mean, he's out there in a pretty good spot too. He's fairly cheap. So the only thing with the Twins is, we got that pinch hit risk here with some of these Twinkies. But I think the Twins are in an interesting spot that if I had, a big MME list, I think I'd include some Twins against old Martin Perez here. So give me some of them righties. He does have more of a ground ball lean to the left side, 55%. He's down to 40% to some righties. But give me some of these righties here for the Twins. I think they'd be interesting. I think I'd like them more of a mini and a one-off, but Margot and Royce Lewis be a couple guys I'd be looking at.
Yeah, always can play Royce Lewis for sure. 5'6", though, he definitely will be low owned. Tampa Bay Rays, Oakland Athletics, Shane Baz, Joey Estes on the mound. 2 very bad baseball teams going at it in Oakland. Not a ballpark I really like to play. Batters. 2 pitchers, though, that I guess are going to get some ownership because if people want to punt, I think these 2, just because who they're going against, like they're naturally going to get a little ownership. I think it's more like mini stacks on both sides, like Brent Rooker. Like you can always play Brent Rooker. He's expensive at 5'4". Again, that's if you have Zach Wheeler, Cole Reagans, or let's say Robbie Ray, Cole Reagans, the chalk pitching pairing. You're 5-man stacking the Royals. Maybe you don't play Bobby Witt because you're already so chalky and you play more expensive Brent Rooker. Like that's something I'd be looking to do. On the Tampa side, it really is Rooker or nothing. I mean, unless you got some other name on this Oakland side. Blade, I guess Lawrence Butler, I guess I can get behind. So mainly the top 3. Tampa side, the lows, Josh Lowe, Brandon Lowe, I think would be the main two I look at. This junior Caminero guy, shortstop and third base eligibility, 3.1K. I think those are my three on Tampa side. Yeah, mini stacks at best on both sides, but I think the minis are interesting. Oakland mini, there you go. Nades is with me.
Yeah, I mean, Tampa, Estes 37% fly balls to the left side, so don't mind the two Lowe brothers. I mean, Oakland's been one of them teams that, they've been sneaky. They've been hitting. They got a lot of power over there. I mean, Baez, you look at him, he does have more of a fly ball lean to the left side here in recent times. So is more of a ground ball pitcher, but I don't mind that. So we want to find guys, obviously, that we talk about that hit more of a fly ball. So I like guys over 30%. We got a handful of those guys here. Butler, Brooker, Blade, Langoliers, they're all in the 30% range. So I don't mind them. Maybe some one-offs, but I can't say I'd want to full stack the A's. That's just kind of tough. But I think both these pitchers are going to get some ownership here today because there are a lot of strikeouts in both of their lineups. But there's also a little bit of power to be hit too. So maybe some one-offs here would probably be a pool you could pick from.
Yeah, the mini stacks on both sides for the team, for the guys we talked about, mainly the top of the order. I do have a little bit of interest in White Sox, Giants, Davis Martin / bullpen game. I mean, I'm expecting San Fran to hit him around, but Davis Martin has gone 5 innings and 6 innings in his past 2 starts, and Robbie Ray on the other side, 7.5 total. I mean, the White Sox, no. I guess I should take that back. When Robbie Ray gets ownership, he can blow up. We saw it last game against the Braves. So if you want to go White Sox, fine. I don't love the idea. 26 teams on the slate. I would rather just not play Ray. Hope he gets you 15, 14. Not really get too many White Sox. If you want to one-off Robert or something, fine. The Giants, yeah, I mean, they look good. You always want to pick on this White Sox pitching staff and the bullpen. Our man Nades above Fitzgerald over Seager. I mean, Tyler Fitzgerald's just an absolute monster. Chapman homered yesterday as well. Yeah, I think Giants are definitely interesting. One of the top team totals, not too expensive. I just really don't like playing bats in San Fran much. But again, it's not like 85, 90 degrees across the country like it has been the past couple weeks and in July. So it's not as big of a deal. Yeah, Tyler Fitzgerald, 5-man stack Giants. I'll let you talk about that.
I like the Giants here today. That's Nate says they're his top stack. So hey, Nate, I kind of agree. They're not my top stack. I got the Rangers, but they're definitely in my top 3. I mean, it's just this White Sox bullpen is so bad, man. Like they're just a team that you got to just keep going against them. Colorado sucks. The Blue Jays bullpen sucks. I mean, let's just keep going after them kind of teams. So yeah, Davis has been giving us 5-6 innings. Fitzgerald's been pretty good. Chapman's been pretty good. Conforto's been hitting the ball pretty well here recently. So, yeah, give me some Giants. I just wish that it was just a different park here. Obviously, if they were in Chicago, I'd like a little bit more. But as you mentioned, it's a little bit cooler around the country. So it's not like we got that big of a difference now. You know, the wind, it might say the wind's blowing out like crazy. It's just wind that gets neutralized out there in San Francisco. But I don't mind this one here today. I wish it was a better spot. If they were in Chicago, I mean, it would probably be my top stack. I do like, as I mentioned, the Rangers a little better. But I think San Francisco is in a pretty good spot here today. Man, like I said, that White Sox bullpen is just bad.
Yes, it is. Last game of the night, Gyiraszin. Again, appreciate everybody watching. 222, always good to see a lot of people in here. See some new faces in the YouTube chat as well. We really do appreciate each and every one of you. Hour 15 talking some baseball. It's a tough slate. Again, that's why I brought out the Shiptimizer earlier, talked about min uniques, talked about build settings, under 5%. It's one of those days, even if you're building 1-2 lineups, if you have an NFL package over here, monthly or early bird, if you know you're locked, you want to be with us for the NFL season, by far the cheapest. You get college football content. Take advantage of that Shiptimizer with MLB. Mess around with it. The NFL tutorial just went out today as well. MLB one's out. Check it out. Mess around with it. I think it's a great slate to do that. So Dodgers, Mariners, Bryce Miller, Walker Buehler on the mound. 82 degrees in Los Angeles. 8.5 total. The thing is, like, Dodgers the highest team total on the slate, but Bryce Miller isn't bad by any means. It just shows how good this Dodgers lineup is. Got Max Muncy back yesterday. He goes deep right away. Freddie Freeman, he was expected to miss. It was the sound like it. He ended up playing. Ohtani obviously is out of this world. Yeah, I mean, I like the Dodgers. I guess it's how you play them, if you play them, because they're so expensive. Seattle side, I think Seattle's more interesting than everyone's talking about. Like, I just don't think Walker Buehler is really good anymore, or I need to see him actually be decent. Cal Raleigh at catcher to fill out a spot. Robles up top. Luke Raley. Randy Arozarena a little bit. Again, I like Raley's my favorite. The other Raley, Luke Raley and Cal Raleigh. I like both of them. And then Robles at 3.7. All those guys relatively cheap. Solid hitting weather. Guaranteed ninth inning at bats. Yeah, mini stack Seattle can definitely 5-man the Dodgers. I'll let you talk about how you would do that. Yeah, my man Gavin Lux, he absolutely is on fire as well. Lefties, you want lefties against Bryce Miller? Man, do they have a lot of lefties there. Tommy Edman at the bottom of the order too. Again, Muncy back, Lux, Freddie, Ohtani. Yeah, it's hard not to like some of these Dodgers.
I hear you, Eric. I'll get there, buddy. I'll get over there. Get that slate plan. I mean, well, this game here, though, I think is interesting. If I was the game stack a game, it'd be this one. Look at across the board. It's got the highest over-under. And we've been talking about how the pitching's been all in these late games here on the West Coast. Now we got all of a sudden where the wind, it's not so hot. We got the highest over-under in the slate out in Los Angeles all of a sudden. Now, mind you, I was looking at Bryce Miller. Dude's only give up one home run his last, 7 starts. So I think that's a little bit concerning. But you look up and down this Dodger lineup, as you mentioned, you got all kinds of lefties with all kinds of power. You got Ohtani, Freeman, Luxman hitting, Muncy coming back. I mean, it's just a lineup up and down that getting better and better with their guys coming back. So I think that's interesting. And then on the other side, as you mentioned, I think the Mariners are interesting against Buehler, as you mentioned, coming back off his injury. We're not really sure what we're getting there. I think that's an interesting call. I think you could use Buehler or you could go against Buehler today. But if you wanted to go that route, as you mentioned, I think Kyle Raleigh is definitely pretty interesting, especially with his high fly ball rate, almost 36%. Definitely like that. So Kyle Raleigh, I think, is interesting. But if I was the game stack a game, I'd be sitting back, maybe waiting to see how this game goes and maybe have more of a Dodger, maybe 5-man if you wanted to, maybe throw in some Mariners here. I think would be an interesting one. I think you could get some cheap enough pitching probably to make that work out for you here today. So I think that one is definitely interesting. But, man, 13 games here, Toto. We got a lot of games, man. I think we're on overtime, man. We're on like an hour and 17. We're going to be on overtime here. They're going to be wondering what we're doing. But, yeah, man, a lot of games.
Definitely a lot of games. I hope that was Gyirashin's internet that just did that a little bit. But, yeah, we want to go in-depth with all of them. We wanted to talk pitching. I want to go ship-to-miser. We don't want to half-ass any of it. Hey, hour 20 talking ball. We usually try and keep it to an hour. We don't always talk 13 games, though. It was awesome talking with the frozen man, Gyirashin. Okay, I see him back.
What happened?
Yeah, your internet happened, man. Get out of the camper. Upgrade that internet.
Fuck, I was all excited, and the shit started spinning. I was going to blame you. Nurse Ratchet came in.
You thought that was on you. So, hey, always fun, though. You're on the overtime. I'll let you get to the slate plan. You go fix your internet. Always fun talking baseball. The best overtime spent talking baseball with all 222 of you out there. Awesome stuff, Gyirashin. You have a great night. Everybody else out there, let's make some money. Like button on the way out, subscribe button. Head over to ShipItNation.com and definitely get in the Discord if you do join. All of the packages except the weekly do include the Discord. So hop in there, see a lot of familiar faces. Let's make some cheese tonight, though. Good luck, everybody. Stay safe. Good stuff, Gyirashin. For Gyirashin, I'm Titletown. Peace.